Right now, you're only perceiving reality through your eyes. But what if reality isn't just what you see? What if reality is beyond your senses? And what if you have to tap into it in a different way?
I hear a lot about mushrooms and like microdosing mushrooms, microdosing hallucinogens.
Mushrooms have only been illegal for 50 years. We've been using mushrooms and getting fucked up for the last 200,000 years. It's part of spirituality. It's part of human nature. It's part of exploration. It's part of getting, I'm not saying go out and do crack. I'm not saying that. Crack isn't like, crack is not a mushroom, right? It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But I was just mentioning, I think it's one of the reasons for deplugging from the matrix. Absolutely. 100%.
If you did not get rich over the last 2 years, you need to be asking yourself, what did I do that caused me to stay poor? A lot of you guys stayed poor because you didn't have access to the right network, because you didn't have access to the right people, because you didn't have access to the right information. And that's the truth. That's just the nature of the situation. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't look at the past. You can only look at the future. And what does the future look like? It looks either bright or very grim. The choice is yours.
Sure, you can scale 10, 20, 30K. Want to get the big numbers, dude? You need to be playing a completely different game. And once you look at it like that, you're like, oh shit, 10 years of my life for 15 million. You have to own the process. And how do you transition in that process is to make enough money to be able to carry you through that season of potential drought, which is the season of growth. Undid it. I'm not talking out of my ass. There's proven testimonials of dudes that did this. The guy sells out of PayPal, takes all of his fucking money from PayPal, reinvests it, goes risky, almost loses it all, and builds 3 multi-billion-dollar companies.
An anime called Psychopath. I recommend everybody watch. And it's this AI that is like 100 or 1,000 brains of different people of society, criminals, billionaires, peasants, everything. And it forms what is supposed to be the controlled neutral mind. But it's not neutral. It's extremely biased. And in the anime, it kind of shows you that entire narrative of a credit system, of a mental check, of a daily pill that they need to consume to manage their mental level and their mood. So civilization has always flourished when the working class are subjugated and they are enslaved. And that's how you build societies. Unfortunately, societies are built on the back of slaves. And today we just have modern day slaves. Okay, you're a brokey. You could literally go and get a job at Buffalo Wild Wings or at McDonald's, or you could be intelligent and go get a job at the country club. You could go get a job at the high-end restaurant. Well, I don't know anything about wines. Well, go on fucking YouTube and learn about wines. Learn how to have a nice little British accent. Learn how to say all the bullshit foods and go work at a high-end restaurant. Why not? That's what I did.
There's a reason why you eat inorganic fruit and it tastes like shit and it tastes like gross. It's because it's not really fruit. It's just industrialized, chemicalized, genetically modified food. You have 4 or 5 restaurants: McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, and Taco Bell. And in the morning, if you have Cisco, which is the food company that delivers all the same ingredients to all the businesses the same way. So yeah, they'll add a couple spices, a couple ingredients, but it's an illusion of choice. You don't really have a choice. In order to have choice, you need to make real decisions. You need to actually choose what you're going to eat and determine that. But once you take away that masquerade of the logo, the ingredients are the same thing from the same manufacturer.
What's your take on supplements?
They're great, depending on which ones you take.
And in terms of like the sources of where they come from?
You need to study the sources of the supplements. Ideally, if you're going to be taking supplements, I would recommend creatine monohydrate as kind of like one of these building blocks. Magnesium, if you have a hard time sleeping, magnesium is super good for you. And I try to keep it light on the supplements. I can either be in a situation where I start a civil war, right, out of jealousy or out of comparison as to what somebody else is doing or how I think somebody else should run a community or how somebody else should run a group of individuals. Or I can just be diplomatic and actually understand that there's different ways to the top of the mountain. And it's better for these individuals to be associating with prosperity, self-development, education than being scrolling on TikTok, looking at hoes, on OnlyFans, on Pornhub, scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on Snapchat. It's like, it's just disease. So anybody that's trying to provide any sort of solution, they have my support, bro. That's what happens when you are institutionalized and when you're a slave to the system. You have to play by the rules of what some bitch motherfucker in a white collar tells you that is or isn't supposed to be the rules of the game. Fuck them. Let's continue building DeFi, continue elevating these digital tribal formations. Let's continue supporting these internet creators. These people actually want to see a better future. And I think the sky's the limit, brother.